Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at the fourth issue of the second volume of Penthouse Comics. They've started re-releasing these. This one's a special edition. It's got a cover by our very own, Living the Line's very own Brandon Graham, contributing to Penthouse Comics and returning to his origins as a pornographer. I've actually been really enjoying this. I got this because Brandon told me that it was good and it had some good art in it. I was particularly interested in the Guillaume March contributions, but was skeptical because it's Penthouse, and I remember the Penthouse comics from the '90s being like over the top, disgustingly pornographic, and have been really surprised and really enjoying this series. The art in this and the stories in this feels much more like pure heavy metal, like the kind of vibe I would want from heavy metal, where you're getting some of the best European artists of the time. As you can see in this one, the story by Steve D, art by Jeff. The artwork has a more hand-colored feel to it, even though I think there is some computer coloring going on in this one. A lot of the coloring's a little more hand-done, so it feels like old-school heavy metal vibes to me. The stories are also less, even though they have a focus on sexuality in some way, it's not just an excuse to have like a girl getting humped by a demon or something weird like that. So up till now, this has been a series of ongoing little stories that you get the next chapter. This one is a follow-up where over the first three issues, we're introduced to new characters each time, and finally in this volume, they're coming together. So you have the super white man, I believe, this racist like KKK superhero guy. There's this sheriff as well, and then there are characters not on this page, but there's two strippers who will hide themselves as white women, and then even though they're, I believe, a black and Mexican woman, and then they'll take out like Nazi biker gangs and stuff. So I don't know totally where this story is going, but it's dealing with racism in America, which is kind of oddly a theme in all of the stories in this first set of issues. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's kind of interesting. And this one is one of the more bombastic ones. I think it's one of the ones I'm looking forward most to seeing where it goes. But really, really cool art you can see. This next story is by J.D. Morvan, the artist Eremos, and the someone named Vargas. This one and the other story by J.D. Morvan, there's two of them, and they both focus on characters that are of mixed race, and so that they can pass as white even though they're black. I looked up J.D. Morvan, and J.D. Morvan's like a white author as far as I could tell. Maybe he is of mixed race, but a European author, and I didn't see anything suggesting he was of mixed race. So I find both of these stories very strange in that they're trying to feel like some kind of social justice message about how people have been mistreated historically because of racial stuff in America, but it's very strange to have this white European author writing about it. And then the way he's writing about it just comes across as like kind of disgusting. Like in this one, you have this character whose wife is white, and he just keeps being like, I don't know, my blood is calling for a black woman. I just wanted to watch them both. I suspected again that I needed a black woman to become a man again. So I don't know. In the story where it's like, I guess supposed to be a story that would be arguing against racism, everywhere that it's coming from is very uncomfortable to me. So not too into that one, and the artwork not so much. This is a story that has been playing out in the other volumes, I believe, but it just seems like it took a real turn here. The Dufault and Guillaume March story ends in this issue. I believe it ends, but this is the one that drew me to the magazine in the first place, and you can see what I'm talking about with this really gorgeous, like hand-painted art, and kind of feeling like the ethic and aesthetic of old school heavy metal. But this is this gal who has these tattoos on her. Obviously, it's going to go someplace sexual, and then there's a bit of a siren thing where the tattoos come alive. And I think the story ends here, but it's definitely set up where they could revisit this. And I hope they do. I hope this keeps going, because this is one of my favorite pieces. And there's just some really stunning images in here where Guillaume March is sparing no expense on detail, but is also making a lot of very wise decisions with color and where to put line and where to not put line. Really, really beautiful stuff. And I think the highlight of the magazine so far. Then the other J.D. Morvan pinned story, and this one I have no idea who the art is on it because there's 3 names, but it says Mavte, Ortiz, and Scientronic are contributing to it. This is another one where this character is of mixed race. He's coming back into a town to get revenge on people who had killed his brother, who looked more black, so he's more obviously black, but he can pass as white. And he's like going in and like fucking their daughters and stuff. That was less obvious in the earlier episodes of it, so I was less put off by it. But in this, he's got like these 2 sisters, and you can see he goes and teases the one and then hooks up with the other one, and it's all some kind of revenge thing for his brother getting killed. So it's this weird, like, politicized thing that shows up in 2 of the stories by the same writer. It seems to be thematic with a few more of the stories. But then, like, they're gonna have, I gotta be careful to where I even flip. They have, like, still photo shoots in the end, which I think is unnecessary. And then there's, like, an interview with a model in here as well. But they still have, like, penthouse shoots in here. And then on the back, they have some message from Terry Crews saying, anytime I see women being stars, the stars that they should be and being featured and being highlighted, it makes my heart happy because it's long overdue. So you've got like this very kind of feminist attempt at a message on the back of a lot of these. There's always these quotes like this. You have these stories that have like this attempt to dip into American racial politics, but it's being done from like a white European perspective about what racial justice should be rather than someone who's from here and has lived it, as far as I could tell. Then an admittedly funny one. But there's like, it seems to be a very clear political bent here that seems to be counterintuitive to the message of all the stories. You've got these stories where guys are just using like fucking women for revenge, or considering like, I'm half black, I need a black woman to make me a man. There doesn't seem to be any real like female ownership of sexuality or something like that you would expect, I guess, from a magazine that's talking about women being the stars. Just because women are like, I don't know, women aren't even the main characters in the majority of these stories. And then as far as I know, none of the artists are either. It just seems, as much as I like the product and I like the artists that are in it, and I've been enjoying it up till now, it's becoming more and more apparent that they're trying to get some weird little virtue points for pretending to be feminist when really it's just a magazine that's like letting people, talk about their sexual interests. And I guess you could say the models in the back are profiting from their own sexuality and all of that, but it feels pretty hollow and empty attempts at showing some kind of political affiliation. And then some of them I would actually think wind up being kind of strangely offensive. So, I have that big critique of the book, but at the same time saying I really enjoy a lot of the stories, and I really enjoy having something that feels like Heavy Metal Magazine. Just give me that product. You don't need to try and make it okay by making some false political statements that don't even jive with the content of the book. Just make the book you want to make. It's cool. I'm enjoying it.